Happening now, the push to capitalize on legal marijuana in New York State. We speak with Jamestown's mayor about his plans for the local economy. Plus, a man who held a child hostage for hours in 2018 was sentenced yesterday.
Well, we've got some raindrops out there for today. Then the heat and humidity is on as we go into the weekend. We'll talk about it next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Two Jamestown men were both sentenced to state prison terms in separate cases recently. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office tells us that 31-year-old Nicholas Brown was sentenced on May 26th to 1.5 to 3 years in state prison for 2 counts of criminal contempt, with the sentences to run concurrently. He pled guilty in Jamestown City Court back in March. Now, the charges follow an hours-long standoff involving a 9-year-old hostage on Spring Street Extended in the city back in September 2018. Police originally responded to the location for a reported domestic violence call around 3 in the morning, with the hostage situation ending at 2 in the afternoon with that child unharmed and returned to their family member. Meanwhile, Jamestown man Nathaniel Hollins received a 1.5 to 3 year prison sentence in county court following a plea to first-degree criminal contempt. Well, a 31-year-old man from Randolph is accused of driving drunk following a hit-and-run crash on I-86 this week. New York State Police allege that Alexander Wolin was driving recklessly before striking a guardrail near exit 13 in Falconer on Memorial Day. Troopers later located Wolin in his vehicle at Phil's Auto Plaza in Falconer with front end damage consistent with the accident report. He was taken into custody after police say he failed several standardized field sobriety tests. He later, troopers report, submitted a breath sample of .15. He was charged with driving while intoxicated before he was issued tickets and released. Well, Jamestown's mayor is looking to take advantage of a new economic sector following New York's legalization of recreational marijuana. Joining us live in studio with more about this new push announced just yesterday is WNY News Now's Christian Reithmiller.
That's right, Justin. Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist is teaming up with the city's Board of Public Utilities to encourage entrepreneurs in the growing sector to consider establishing their new business in the city. Specifically, he is highlighting local initiatives for marijuana growers offered within city limits, like affordable real estate and utilities.
Cultivators, growers, processors, co-op licensees, anyone that really has an interest in growing and production operations, to take a look at the city of Jamestown.
Marijuana grower operations will likely need, as the mayor explains, not only a large venue, but also low-cost electricity and, most importantly, water.
We talk a lot about hydroponics. We talk a lot about being able to convert our old manufacturing warehouse space into growing operations, which brings in jobs, helps revitalize some of the economy, and helps us take over some of these older buildings and fix up some of the housing stock.
He says cultivating the new agriculture opportunity in Jamestown would not only be good for the local economy, but the region as well, with businesses likely selling their crops statewide using thoroughfares like Interstate 86.
Those production facilities are going to happen regardless, right? And so we want to be on the cutting edge of that and to let all of those operators know that we have a very open administration.
That openness, Sundquist says, will likely transfer to dispensaries too.
The reality is dispensaries are new markets. They're opportunities for new taxation and revenue streams. And they have a really great potential, especially in a city like Jamestown, where you do have a lot of tourism.
Those interested in learning more about getting into the marijuana business are encouraged to reach out to either the Jamestown Department of Development or Jamestown BPU's Business Development Office. We have links to connect with them posted online at WNYNewsNow.com. Justin, back to you.
All right, Christian, thank you. Well, a new program that would highlight the opportunity and value of community colleges like SUNY JCC is now underway. State University Chancellor Jim Malatras announced the Stay Near Go Far campaign yesterday. He says that community colleges like SUNY JCC offer a great pathway to education or a career, especially for those who might be delaying a college decision because of the last year. The chancellor adds that community colleges offer an education at half the average cost of a four-year college in the U.S. For SUNY's community colleges, nearly 64% of associate degrees have zero debt. In addition to offering industry credentials and certificates with direct career placement in many cases, they offer transfer credits to four-year institutions as well. Now, as part of the campaign, SUNY Community College alumni are encouraged to share their success stories on social media using the hashtag CommunityCollegeGotMeHere. The program runs through September 1st. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. We always love to hear from you. Great to see Stacy. Good to see Karen, Jenny, Mike, Greg, Pam, and Joanna as well, who Dakota is celebrating the heat today. She says, yippee for the heat. And I'm cool with the heat, but the humidity, that's where it gets to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't mind it when it gets up to the low 80s, mid 80s. It's just that humidity that is just awful because your clothes stick to you and it's just nasty. But 66 right now in Findlay Lake. The clouds have moved in and we're ultimately going to see some rain showers later this afternoon. And the radar shows you a couple of these little scattered showers down across northwestern Pennsylvania. And again, the rain today is not going to be widespread. It's going to be scattered nature. So, you know, it's going to be kind of moving across the entire area today with the rain coverage through the afternoon. We managed 69 yesterday. We forecasted 69, so that was a good forecast. 59 is where we started the day. 95 today in 1934 broke the record high, and 27 in 1986 is the record low. And we'll talk more about those 90s coming up in a little bit later on. We're not forecasting 90 for this week, but we'll talk about some history on it. So overcast through the afternoon today, scattered showers and storms, a bit muggier. Some of the storms, especially in the eastern southern tier, may contain some heavy rain and some gusty winds. 65 right at the lake to 71 inland. Now tomorrow, maybe a chance for a scattered shower or storm. Then the heat and humidity is on as we go into the first weekend of June. We'll talk about it in full detail with that 7-day forecast later in the show. Justin?
All right, Dakota, looking forward to that about 10 minutes time, so stay tuned. Taxpayers are set to foot the bill for a $2.5 million contract for lawyers representing Governor Andrew Cuomo's office in an ongoing federal investigation over his administration's handling of COVID-19 data in nursing homes. Legal bills are mounting as Cuomo and his administration fight back against allegations that he abused his power by sexually harassing and assaulting female employees and other women, publishing his COVID-19 leadership book in violation of his state ethic law, and providing priority COVID tests to his family in spring 2020, and minimizing the state's COVID data involving nursing home deaths. Now, the Department of Justice and State Attorney General's Office have launched probes of such allegations, while the state's Assembly Judiciary Committee is also looking into considering whether there are grounds to impeach the embattled governor. When asked yesterday if he's using the campaign or personal funds to pay for any of the lawyers, Cuomo said, "Not at this time."
The way it works is the executive chamber has retained the counsel, and that is a state expense. It has been in every investigation. So that's where we are now.
It's unknown how much taxpayers will end up paying in all for those legal costs stemming from the wide-ranging allegations against him. Well, next week, the New York State legislative session will come to an end. And before it's over, progressive lawmakers and advocates are hoping to end what's called qualified immunity. New York State Capitol correspondent Karina Capabianca reporting and hearing more from those on both sides of this issue.
End qualified immunity now.
Qualified immunity protects public officials like police from civil lawsuits if it can be argued that the official wasn't aware that he or she was violating someone's constitutional rights.
The way courts have interpreted this, you can almost never bring a case
against someone for abusing their authority in law enforcement.
We want a law that basically says that all public officials who have the authority do not violate any member of our state's constitutional rights that will be a violation of the state law or federal law. That's all we're asking for.
The legislation to end qualified immunity has been opposed by some in law enforcement, like the New York State Sheriff's Association.
It's going to impose a very unfair burden on them, essentially asking them to be psychic, to understand in advance what some court is going to rule is a constitutional right.
But others in the law enforcement community say the changes should be made.
It's not about getting rid of all the cops and suing all the cops. It's about changing bad behavior. It's about being accountable. It's about being transparent. It's about listening to our community.
It's down to the wire for lawmakers to pass the bill through both houses. The legislative session ends next Thursday, and the bill currently sits in committee. In Albany, Karina Capabianca.
Karina, thank you. Well, coming up, the post-pandemic push for tourism here locally, and later, the new trail that will connect kids with nature. Our Julia Grass walks along this development. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Honest Jones has what you're looking for. When you want it good, we're gonna give you lots more.
From freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has what you're looking for. And now 2 great locations, East 2nd Street and Fairmount Avenue. Order takeout or delivery today online at honestjohns.pizza.
You're gonna get it good at Honest John's.
Have the best summer ever with endless adventures at Girl Scout Summer Camp. Financial aid available, open to all girls. For more information, call or go to gswny.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
A new push to revamp the tourism industry post-pandemic is happening across New York State. In an international advertisement campaign called New York Reimagined, state leaders are looking to broadcast that New York is the safe and ideal spot for summer vacationers. WNY News Now's Mario Cosentino explains.
Our message is simple. It's time to re-enter society. It's time to reopen. It's time to reimagine. There's no place better to do that than the state of New York.
To do that, Governor Andrew Cuomo announced the start of the $5 million campaign with the message that New York is back open for tourism. This comes at a time where New York State has among the lowest 7-day positivity rates for the virus, which contrasts greatly to a year ago where New York had the highest positivity rate in the U.S.
So if you want a vacation and you don't want to have to worry about COVID, vacation in the state of New York.
After a year mostly shut in, travel has made a comeback in 2021, and Cuomo wants New York to take advantage of that.
On the reopening, you are going to see a surge of consumer activity and a surge of social activity. We want it to happen here. We want to capitalize on this moment.
The campaign, he says, will not just focus on New York City, but will highlight tourism opportunities throughout the entire state.
Upstate New York has the most beautiful rural areas. It has the Adirondacks, it has the Finger Lakes, it has wineries. You can bike, you can fish, you can hike as well as you can anywhere else in the United States.
Mario Cosentino, WNY News Now.
Mario, thank you. Cuomo says between New York City and upstate New York, tourism brought in 265 million visitors to the state in 2019. Will kids wear face masks when they return to in-person learning this fall? That's a big question for parents and school staff members alike. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is signaling it may lift that recommendation over the summer. As of now, the agency recommends students wear masks in classroom settings. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky saying this morning on Good Morning America that vaccination rates among children could change that. She says her agency is reviewing both COVID infection and vaccination rates. COVID vaccines are currently approved by the Federal Drug Administration for kids as young as 12 years old, but not younger. Rochelle says she believes the guidance to wear masks in schools will be lifted before classes resume in the fall. Well, you could win $1 million to get a COVID-19 shot, score tickets to a game from your favorite team, and even bag a free beer. Those incentives are all part of President Biden's newly announced National Month of Action to battle the coronavirus pandemic in America. John Lawrence explains.
The more people we get vaccinated, the more success we're going to have in our fight against this virus.
President Biden is sending out a rallying cry to Americans, announcing June as the National Month of Action, outlining additional steps his administration is taking to reach the goal of having 70% of American adults to receive one vaccination shot by the 4th of July holiday.
Starting next week, many vaccination sites will be offering extended hours during the month of June, including pharmacies that will be open 24 hours every Friday night. Kroger announced that they're going to give away $1 million each week to someone who gets vaccinated at one of their pharmacies. The NBA, the NHL, NASCAR tracks, they're offering vaccines outside playoff games and at races. Major League Baseball will be offering free tickets to people who get vaccinated at the ballpark. And to top it off, Anheuser-Busch announced that beer is on them on July the 4th. That's right, get a shot and have a beer.
Right now, nearly 134 million people, about 52% of the adult population in the U.S., is fully vaccinated, and more than 162 million people, about 63% of the adult population, has received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine.
Because of that, America is headed into a summer dramatically different from last year's summer, a summer of freedom.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. New York has similar measures like giving away free college scholarships to students who get vaccinated. Well, today is a day that comes with endless options. It's National Egg Day. The nutrient-rich food can be prepared, fried, scrambled, poached, over easy, or sunny side up, just to name a few. They aren't just for breakfast. Eggs can also be key ingredients in pasta, burgers, and baked goods like cookies and cakes. Celebrate your excellent food creations by posting on social media with the hashtag National Egg Day. Just such an excellent story, Dakota. In fact, I was talking in the newsroom.
I have a feeling Justin wrote that.
Why? You know I like to
because Justin, again, needs new material.
Oh, come on. I love, I write all of our teases and top stories, except for the days that I don't, if we're too busy. And I like to, mix it up, keep it interesting, right?
So here's the question. How do you like your eggs?
I actually recently, I used to be just like an omelet guy. Like I was really, I into, like what can you put in omelets? But
everything but the kitchen sink.
For real. And I'm pretty good at making them, I think. And recently I still can do omelets and enjoy them. But every weekend, like we'll have, an extended breakfast. During the week, I'm pretty quick and out the door. But I've been liking my eggs over easy. I've found that it's really, really good. And I got to give it to Christian, actually. We were talking about this before the show. He mentioned I could cook them over easy and then scramble them real quick. And it kind of gives that runniness in there. I think I'm going to try it this weekend. It should be good.
Yeah, but you see, I don't like my eggs runny, though.
You don't like them runny?
No.
What would be your favorite egg?
Scrambled.
Scrambled?
I am a scrambled type of guy. It's like, when I go to a restaurant and they serve like an egg on a burger, I ask them if they can scramble it. And sometimes they look at me like,
you crazy?
What? But hey, you know what? I'm used to it because I eat my steak well done. So
yeah, everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their thing. Good to see Christy, Christian.
Notice how we just moved on quickly
and
from that?
Brenda, hopefully
we
you're
don't want
having
to
a
talk
good
about
day.
well done steak, do we?
No, listen. I wouldn't get it well done, but if you want to get it well done, go ahead. I'm a medium rare kind of person. I think that it should be just right.
Well, you see,
Just right.
my opinion on that is if I want to eat blood, I'll just slice it off the gosh
But
darn
see,
cow.
medium rare isn't that bloody. It's just a
But
little
still.
bit, usually.
Meat is not supposed to have pink or any of that stuff in it.
Right, I just go out and
Speaking
kill a
of
cow.
pink, let's go to the weather. And we did a little calculation this morning talking about the days of extreme heat going all the way back to 1926. Now, since then, we've had 26 days where the high temperature was 95 degrees or above since 1926. How many days do you think we've had 100? Well, if you guessed one, you're right, because a hint, I told you that yesterday. On the 9th of July was the only time Jamestown officially hit 100 degrees at the airport, and that was way back in 1936. So I'm not saying we're going to hit 100 this year. It doesn't look possible, but anything is possible. I mean, it's been a long time since we hit 100. Why don't we get a 100 this summer? We'll see what happens. Clouds downtown right now, at least no rain at the moment. 65 as of noon hour right now. Healthy southwest wind to 15, a wind gust to 22. And the humidity up there, when the dew point starts to reach 60, that's when you start feeling the humidity in the air. Baseball graphic is back. Are you ready for this? Now, it's not here, unfortunately, but the Tarp Skunks have their first game of the season and their first ever game. They are playing Niagara tonight up in Niagara Falls. So 72 at the first pitch, 69 by the 7th inning stretch. And by the time we go to the 9th inning, we got a pair of sixes there for Niagara Falls. The first pitch is at 6 o'clock tonight. So go Tarp Skunks. Unfortunately, it's not a home game. I think the first home game is in a week or two. So, of course, look for that graphic coming back in another week here. That low pressure area that is near Cape Girardeau, Missouri, that is what's bringing us the rain showers. Notice how it expands across much of the Northeast, and this is in association with a warm front that's actually pushing north, and the warm front is also bringing warmer temperatures and the increased humidity. So the radar close in, just a few of these little speckle showers moving across the southern portion of the southern tier down into Warren County. That's pretty much about it, but the rain will increase in coverage as we go through the afternoon. And Future Scan paints you that idea. And again, I would not necessarily think the rain would be this heavy, especially in some areas. Not to say the rain's not going to be here. Again, computer models, especially this particular model doesn't really do a good job with convection. So again, but there could be a couple isolated showers and thunderstorms or scattered showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. Then the cloud cover will stay with us through the night, maybe an isolated shower early, then tapers off. Tomorrow should be mainly dry, minus a couple isolated showers popping up through the day. And then as we head into the weekend, it turns much drier and much warmer and muggier at that. Now, there is a low-end marginal risk, a level 1 on a scale of 1 to 5 for the southern portion of Cattaraugus County, the extreme southern portion of Warren County, and then further out to the east. And the bigger severe weather problems today really are going to be down across the downstate area near New York City and Philly. That's where they have the standard slight risk of 2 out of 5. So here we go with the zone forecast. The inland areas today, we're likely going to top out in the mid to upper 60s today. Some spots may get close to that 70-degree mark. And again, a couple stronger storms could be possible in the eastern southern tier. Next 7 days right now, pair of 7s tomorrow, 82 tomorrow, turns much warmer and stickier, muggy sun, hot stuff Monday. Are you toasty yet? On Tuesday, and then 85 on Wednesday with a few pop-up showers and maybe a storm. We'll take a break and be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
but there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Work on a trail that would connect Jamestown's urban and natural landscapes is slated to get underway this weekend. As WNY News Now's Julia Gress explains, the Chattacoin Adventure Trail will connect Love Elementary and Jackson Taylor Park in what city officials hope will not only provide a safe passage for young kids, but help them learn about nature as well.
Constructed in phases, the Chattacoin Adventure Trail is made possible through a Kaboom Play Anywhere grant from the Chautauqua County Health Network and the City of Jamestown. The city's Director of Development, Crystal Surdick, is among those kicking off construction on Saturday morning, with work continuing throughout the summer.
The first phase is really getting the nature play area set up, getting some of those paw prints on the sidewalks. Some of those will be painted, so we've got some stencils. Planting the pollinator garden at the school, and then probably some other plantings in and around the nature play area as well.
Groups like the Roger Torrey Peterson Institute and Audubon Nature Center are also giving input to the project to help bridge the gap between the man-made and natural landscapes. With that in mind, paw prints will be incorporated within the trail, as well as a pollinator garden at Love Elementary and a nature play area in Jackson Taylor Park. The city is also working with the New York State Department of Transportation to make crossing busy crosswalks, like this one on Washington Street, easier. When work on the road gets underway later this summer, traffic calming measures will also be added.
The second phase, we will actually be working with Department of Public Works to install the signage. And there will be some sidewalks along 10th Street, which is part of the route, need to be replaced. So we've coordinated that with DPW to make that part of this project as well, since we have to do it anyway. And they will get some stamped paw prints or tracks, animal tracks, in those new concrete sidewalks that are poured when that happens.
The project is also honoring late City Councilwoman Vicki James, who fought hard to make this possible prior to her passing.
She was really excited about this project and a big advocate for it. And, it seems very fitting that this will be in the nature play space that is kind of the trailhead of this project.
In the end, none of this would happen without the community itself, and Surdick is looking for more volunteers to step up.
We're really excited, and we can't wait for Build Day, and we hope that we get a good turnout of community members that want to volunteer, throwing some dirt around and getting your hands dirty, and we're really looking forward to it. So there's still time to sign up to volunteer.
To register for Saturday's work session, visit the city's website at jamestowny.gov. For WNY News Now, I'm Julia Gress.
Julia, thank you. Once the initial aspects of that trail come together this weekend, city leaders expect it will be ready for public use immediately. Really amazing addition. Certainly looking at that, and I think what a better area to connect, really. Smart thinking, it almost seems like, Dakota, where would the kids go after school? Mm-hmm. Well, probably the nearest park. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I went to Love School as a young toddler back around the Civil War days, and so that would be a great spot to connect the trail to head down there.
And I think smart too when you talk about the dangers of the road, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you have some of these
especially
younger
when
kids.
You go over Washington Street and that whole area. You've got cars zooming past there all the time.
So why not have a dedicated path where community members can be vigilant, police and things like that, and we can all just kind of respect the fact that, we know kids will be walking down the street to go to the park. It's pretty cool. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. As Dakota mentioned, we're going to be maybe dodging a couple of showers this afternoon. You can see it now live here on the DoubleTree camera over downtown. So be sure to stay dry and stay safe. We'll see you back here tomorrow for our TGIF edition.